My stepsister added saffron to my brown sugar water. During the college entrance exam, I had such severe abdominal pain that I was carried out of the room, and menstrual blood stained half of my stool red. My father didn't take it seriously, saying, "Your sister is only a child." My stepmother, with a large belly, sneered, "How is it possible to have so much blood during a normal period? Maybe she has a dirty disease." My grandmother thought I was too costly. "You have to go to the hospital for an exam. You're constantly getting sick and spending money. Why don't you die?" I died of excessive blood loss. When I opened my eyes again, I was transported back to the time before my stepsister drugged me. I removed the brown sugar water and replaced it with the flower tea that my stepmother used to soothe her nerves. That day, the ambulance downstairs rang all night. In my previous life, I should not have died as easily. Grandma was so tight with money that she wouldn't let me stay in the hospital for observation. She forcibly removed my IV drip and forced me, who was anemic, to walk 5 kilometers home. I've never heard of a woman dying from her period and bleeding. Furthermore, your stepmother is due to give birth in 2 months. Shouldn't we spend money on milk, powder, and diapers? Why don't you think of the adults? To prevent infection, the doctor suggested prescribing amoxicillin. Grandma flatly refused and stated, "No need. We have it at home." Later, she took out her thrombosis medication and forced me to take it. It was only a 2-word difference, but it cost my life. Grandma was concerned that I would revisit the doctor, so she locked the door before leaving. Girls today are just too delicate. Grandma locked me in and then forgot about me. The next day, my father's company organized a 5-day tour of Sonia as a team building activity. He was the boss and could bring his family members, but not me. The entire family went. The house remained empty for 5 days. My body was discovered only after neighbors complained about smelling something bad. My family members expressed no sadness, regret, or grief because my stepmother gave birth prematurely. The Sebastian family was overjoyed to welcome a big fat grandson. Grandma even considered it unlucky to hold a funeral. She handed over all of the arrangements for my afterlife to an outsourcing team from start to finish with no relatives present. I could not figure it out. Why was I so cautious? Everywhere, I tried hard to please them. I did not compete with my stepsister for my father's affection, nor did I make things difficult for him. However, this is how things turned out. I was so unwilling, I wanted to live again. When I opened my eyes again, I was transported back to the night before the college entrance exam. In this life, I do not want fatherly love, stepmotherly love, or grandmotherly love at all. After my evening self-study, I changed my shoes at the entrance. "Scarlett, be careful with your stomach." My stepmother, who has a large belly, stuffed her boots into the cabinet before me. Sure enough, my father was at home. He gave me a ferocious look, as if he intended to kill me. "Scarlett, are you crippled or blind? She's my wife. Are you expecting her to serve you?" My stepmother, Vivian, was my father's first love. He brought my mother home less than half a year after she had died. He cherished her and pampered her patiently. My father also adored her daughter from her previous marriage. Seeing that I was standing there motionless. "Why are you standing there?" My father shouted at me. "Fetch some water." My job was to wash my stepmother's feet and massage her pregnant belly. Even though I was preoccupied with my studies in Senior 3, I never missed a day. First, I realized how hard my father worked to earn money. Second, I wanted to get along well with my stepmother. Most importantly, my mother told me before she died, "Scarlett, what would happen after I died? If your father allows another woman into the house, don't cry. Don't make a fuss or run away from home. Believe me, everything will be fine once you reach adulthood." She left me an inheritance substantial enough to shake my father's position in the company. However, I could only inherit it as an adult. And I was killed before that happened. It was also my fault for being too naive in my previous life and becoming overly involved in the roles of a caring father and filial daughter. Not anymore. My father was waiting for me to kneel and wash his first love's feet, but I leaned against the wall. "Is the husband in this family deceased? Your wife's feet are swollen like pig's trotters during pregnancy. However, you still want your daughter to massage them. Could it be that a man's contribution to having a baby is simply that?" 1 second. As I previously stated, I even made a gesture of losing the South Korean market. My father was stunned for a while. He could not believe what he had just heard. Just as he was about to lose his cool, my stepmother held him back, 2 teardrops on the verge of falling. "Husband, do not scare the child. Tomorrow is college entrance day. Scarlett dreams of attending Tsinghua University." My dad sneered, "If she gets into Tsinghua University, I will rename this house after her." My stepmother nearly panicked when she heard the house, but she soon calmed down. "Oh, why are you arguing with the child? Furthermore, If Scarlett attends Tsinghua University, she may eventually settle in Beijing. She won't need this house anyway. It didn't matter where you settled down. The key was that this bet could not be placed because she knew I would win. During my 3 years of high school, my stepmother only reported bad news, never good news. She didn't mention it when I was in the top 3 in my class. But when I made a mistake on an easy math question, she spread the word. When I ripped up a hooligan's love letter, she said nothing, but when the hooligan blocked me at the school gate every day, she reported everything. As a result, my father regarded me as a rebellious girl with average grades and an unexpectedly chaotic love life. After hearing what I said, my father waved his hand. Okay, then we'll buy one in Beijing. My ears perked. Dad, I want a 5-bedroom apartment with a living room. My stepmom was shocked. Scarlett, you are still young. There's no reason to buy such a large house, right? No, it is not. I counted with my fingers. 1 room for grandma, 1 for you and dad, 1 for my sister, 1 for the baby brother in your womb, and 1 for myself. It's exactly right. My stepmother spoke in a sarcastic tone. It's very kind of you to think of us old people. A 6-bedroom apartment with a living room would be ideal, with 1 room designated as a nursery. My father held her in his arms and coaxed her with a smile. Vivian, don't be worried. The bed is about Chu University, a non-vocational school. She won't be able to pass the exam in her next life. I quickly took out the gambling contract and handed it over, fearing that my father would break his word. Dad, should I sign it or have my fingerprints on it? Then my stepmother was speechless. After taking a shower, I discovered I had my period. It was 10 days later than usual, which coincided with the college entrance exam. I only learned later that Ophelia had added progesterone to my milk. My stepsister, who is only a year younger than I am, was as vicious as her mother. I went downstairs 10 minutes earlier than usual. Sure enough, through the door, I overheard my stepmother and her discussing how Scarlett had been pretending to be a White Lotus for 3 years, and we couldn't find a single flaw. Finally, she can no longer pretend. She wants to pursue her dream of owning a house today. Fortunately, I've been preparing for a long time. The rustling sound of plastic bags came from inside Mom. The saffron you requested has been ground into a powder. Good. Take care when you put it in later. I've always thought this girl was a little different. Ophelia laughed. How could this be? I added Detrol tablets to Scarlett's drink for half a month, and she didn't notice. She was still annoyed that her period had been delayed. My stepmother sneered. At first, I just wanted this little one to fail the exam and attend a regular technical school. Now it appears that she will be unable to complete even one exam. I made it to the kitchen before Ophelia. I poured out the already boiled brown sugar water and replaced it with another cup of a similar color. My stepmother drank calming tea every day. I bet Ophelia, that idiot, wouldn't know the difference. A woman's heartfelt cry came early in the morning. Sebastian, husband, I'm in so much pain in my stomach. Please help and save me. When I opened the door, I noticed my stepmother riding the sofa like a worm. There was a pool of red spreading beneath her. My father held her hand and comforted her. Vivian, do not be afraid. The ambulance will arrive soon. Our baby will undoubtedly be born healthy. I couldn't help sneering, man. It's so clear whether he loves or not. My father refused to come on the day my mother died, claiming he had a connection to the company. My grandfather used a kitchen knife to force him out of the company. When Grandma noticed my stepmother was losing strength from crying, she pulled my father aside to save the baby. Save the baby. She had long hoped to have a grandson. The B ultrasound had already confirmed that it was a boy. Mother, Sebastian, why are you saying this now? Think about it carefully. You're 46 this year and Vivian is 40. There will be no problem in the future. But will she still be able to give birth? Grandma had said such things many times in front of my mother. My father had always ignored them, but when it came to Vivian, he couldn't bear to hear any of it. Mom, even if Vivian doesn't have a child, I will still love her. You care deeply about your grandson. You can go and adopt one for yourself. I will pay for it. Grandma cursed and backed off to one side. I purposefully put on a worried expression because Auntie had lost much blood. Will there be a postpartum infection? The doctor stated that amoxicillin appears to be effective in reducing inflammation. I have something with the letters LI. Grandma turned around, removed 2 pills and stuffed them into my stepmother's mouth. Mom, you cannot take medicine at random. My father did not interrupt her nonsense. I take it daily, and the only thing wrong is your woman, Precious. The ambulance has arrived downstairs. When the doctor saw the amount of bleeding, he was astounded. I asked the pregnant woman about her platelet count, which was normal. What's happening? Even when administering a drip, blood from the needle hole is difficult to stop. My father had memorized every examination parameter for his first love. Normal. Everything is normal. The doctor inquired again about the food. Mom didn't eat dinner tonight. She only drank calming tea. Ophelia responded quickly. I knew my chance had arrived. Sister, didn't you add something to Andy's tea? There was still some red powder in Ophelia's fingernail cracks. In an instant, my stepmother's pupils contracted. She guessed, but all she could do was accept her bad luck. DMY father's stare at Ophelia was deadly. Ophelia, what have you added? Speak. Ophelia's body was shaking like a sieve. I don't know, father. I did not mean it. The doctor repeated. Again. Family members must be honest. Otherwise, if something went wrong, my father would slap Ophelia in the face. Still not speaking, it is saffron. The doctor was shocked. You are attempting to kill the pregnant woman. My dad was about to hit her again. I took a step back and began to end the fight. Sister is still a child. Dad, I remember how you comforted me in my previous life. My father raised his hand to slap her again. 16 years old is not a child. Ophelia's face was swollen. It is not my fault. Woo-woo. Grandma also gave her medication. When Grandma heard this, she immediately pulled out a blister pack of medicine. Do not talk nonsense. Mine is to reduce inflammation. The doctor was stunned. This is an anticoagulant. My father was so furious that he almost killed his mother for the first time. He shouted without regard for his image. Mom? How many times have I told you not to take medicine without a doctor's prescription? You are old. It doesn't matter if you die, the child in your belly is your grandson. It's somewhat amusing to say this. I've been hospitalized at least 10 times for taking the wrong medication. In the most serious scenario, I even had anaphylactic shock, but he didn't tell Grandma about it. I will give my life for him. Can I give up my old bones for him? Grandma knelt on the ground, crying. Ophelia was also sobbing. My stepmother was in so much pain that she lost her voice, and my father was so worried that his back was sweating. Just me. I was the only person in the family who remained completely unaffected. Except for me, it turns out that a slap only hurts when it is delivered to the face of someone close to you. The entire family went to the hospital and did not return all night. I slept well the next day. I arrived at the examination room on time, without that woman causing any problems. I felt relaxed both physically and mentally. I could hear background music in my head while writing the composition. My grades had always been among the top 3 in the grade. After living this life again, not much time had passed, and I had not missed any key points of knowledge. I graded the questions at 8 o'clock in the evening. My father called me for the first time. He stated that both the mother and child are safe. However, they would not return for the time being, because the baby weighed only 2 kilograms and was premature. He had to be placed in an incubator and was given blue light treatment while lying inside. He was soft and pink, like a little kitten through the receiver. When the man spoke, I could tell he was excited. Grandma asked him, have you decided on a name yet? My father said he had. It's Leo Lo and Dawn Vivian, and I chose it 20 years ago. I smiled before hanging up. I remember when I was a kid. I asked my father what the Lu in my name meant. He was preoccupied with a meeting and impatiently pushed me aside. What else could this mean? It entails replacing the crown prince with a civet cat, as was initially intended. Unfortunately, Dad assumed his crown prince had arrived, unaware that this was also a civet cat. Mom told me before she died that your father is no good. My father began his career in real estate when, while inspecting a construction site, a steel plate pressed against his thigh and caused him to pass out. The doctor stated that his reproductive system had been injured. He required surgery to either remove or repair the vas deferens. The latter would take longer, but the success rate was relatively high. Mom didn't hesitate to remove it. The operation was performed without informing Dad. Mom was already in the advanced stages of stomach cancer. She knew Dad would never forget his first love, so she did 2 things for me before leaving. First, make sure I was Sebastian's only child. Second, transfer all of her real estate and financial assets to me. Scarlett left a business card advising you to consult a lawyer when you reach adulthood. My birthday is in August. It's just 2 months away. Soon, the college entrance exam was over, and I could no longer find an excuse to avoid going to the hospital. As soon as I walked into the delivery room, I could hear my stepmother arguing with my father. Honey, I have already given birth to our son. Why is my foot still swollen? Then, let Mom massage them for you. Scarlett's massage skills were incredibly relaxing, but Mom could not have done such a thorough job. Unfortunately, she was the busiest at the time. What is there to do now that the exams are over? Dad took out his cell phone. I'll ask her to come here right away and massage you. Goodness. He asked me to go and care for her during the postpartum period. The next second, the incoming call display illuminated. I got it, Dad, and hung up the phone. Fine, allow me to demonstrate my proficiency. My father was taken aback when I rushed to the hospital with both large and small bags. Didn't I tell you to come immediately? Why are you here? He paused and looked behind me. A large crowd followed me, with some even carrying video cameras. Why have you brought so many camera operators? I ignored him. In front of the camera, I placed 2 bags of Huggies diapers, 2 cans of milk powder, a postpartum belly belt, and a stainless steel wash basin one at a time. Did you record it, Brother Wang? I can also do a profile shot that is recorded. Let's also take a shot of your back. Not a problem. Society is like a giant hand. That is a fighter among hens. Oh yes. After 3 clicks, Dad couldn't take it anymore and pulled me aside. Scarlett, what on earth are you doing? Oh Dad, we're standing too far away. The sound cannot be picked up for the following second. I raised my voice by 30 decibels in a broadcasting tone. Dad, I've come to take care of my stepmother during her postpartum period. Do not worry, leave it to me. The rich mezzo-soprano voice rang out throughout the ward. After that, I explained to Dad in hushed tones that our teacher had asked us to create vlogs after the college entrance exam and play them at the teacher appreciation banquet. I was filming it when you called and asked me to take care of the postpartum period. I thought it was fine. I could film everything together to improve the materials. Dad's face became red, then pale. If the daughter takes care of the stepmother during the postpartum period, where would he put his old face? It was going to be shown at the teacher appreciation banquet. I could not even imagine it. Dad raised his hand to shoo them away. I don't need you to take them and leave quickly. I looked disappointed. Is it that I don't need to take care of it now, or that I won't need to take care of it in the future? It's significant material. How about I schedule an appointment when I'm free? By the way, Father, I've even purchased books and learned 35 postpartum massage techniques. I lied. I read about postpartum care first. Dad was already tired of hearing it. How noisy. Get out. Bang. The door to the ward was mercilessly closed in front of me. I thought he would never let me massage my stepmother in his lifetime since I wouldn't do it. This responsibility fell to Ophelia. Dad asked, and she couldn't refuse after all. I had been doing it for the majority of my senior year in high school. She was still in her sophomore year. Could she be busier than I? After all, Vivian was her biological mother. Every time I saw Ophelia's red wrists, I couldn't help but add to the fire. Wow, your hands are very red. Sister, Dad, and the others will be heartbroken to see them, right? I'm different. They won't even allow me to touch them. You're amazing. I am envious of people who possess genuine massage skills, unlike myself. I just ate and drank after the college entrance exam, as expected. After Ophelia entered the room, she smashed half of the items on the wall. Am I a nanny? Wasn't this kind of dirty work previously reserved for Scarlett's? Why should it be thrown to me? Do you know that? Today I had my final exams and my hands were shaking. My stepmother did not know. A mother and daughter can become estranged much more easily than a father and daughter. It took her 3 years to make Dad dislike me, whereas it only took me 3 days to drive Ophelia insane. When my stepmother and younger brother were released from the hospital, Grandma was sent back to the countryside. I received 722 points on the college entrance examination, ranking first in the city, while Ophelia only received 501 points on the semester's final exam, dropping 200 places. My stepmother couldn't keep her calm and scolded her briefly in front of relatives and friends. She claimed that she was not suited for studying and that, as a slow learner, she could not work diligently. That was an excellent sister, just like me. She had no idea how to ask for advice in front of others. Ophelia's eyes became red. She even appeared distraught. Auntie, you have wronged my sister. I unexpectedly spoke up for her. Ophelia received only 72 points in Chinese because she did not finish writing the composition. Halfway through the exam, her hand cramped up. It was the result of massaging you. Ophelia's eyes appeared to turn even redder as these words were spoken. Her grievances are silent at first, but comfort and understanding can cause her to burst into tears. I have continued since your younger brother was born. Have you ever paid any attention to your sister? She massaged her wrists until they were red to help reduce the swelling more quickly. At the time, were you thinking about your daughter who was trying so hard to please you, or the pink and chubby son in the swaddling clothes? These words struck a nerve with Ophelia. She burst into tears in front of a group of adults. Everyone who was playing with the younger son rushed to comfort the older one. My stepmother's reputation for preferring sons to daughters grew over time. Ophelia also believed it. Following that day, Ophelia began to align with me. I gave her some tassel earrings, headbands, and necklaces. Shiny and jingling objects are particularly appealing to children. Sure enough, when she was caring for her younger brother, She was always in debt for tuberculosis, until I noticed long hair in the little chubby hand. Have you been losing hair lately? I asked. She fiddled with her hair in front of the mirror for quite some time, taken aback. Oh, my God, it is true. Ophelia adored beauty. How could she let herself be pulled bald in a fit of rage? She began pulling her brother's hair back. My stepmother was extremely upset. She delivered the famous line that sparked the war between sister and brother. You're the older sister. What is wrong with giving in to your younger brother? This single sentence triggered all previous emotions. Ophelia immediately picked up the child and dashed to the balcony. Is only your son precious? If you had the ability, you should not have given birth to me. Give in. Give in. Let us see who gives in to whom on the way to the underworld if we jump down. No. Mom is roaring. Ophelia, don't be impulsive. My stepmother's legs trembled. Ophelia lost the opportunity to be alone with her younger brother and grew even closer to me. Are you attending Tsinghua University? She asked, and I said yes. What is the matter? My mother instructed me to find a way to obtain your admission ticket and password, and to change your application preferences when the time came. It's a truly despicable method, just as I expected. I smiled. So why did you come here specifically to tell me? My mother intends to use the money that was supposed to buy you a house to establish an education fund for her son. Ophelia explained as she tied her ponytail with the tassel hairband I had given her. I thought about it all night. It would be better to give it to you than to him. As she moved, the hem of her clothing lifted, revealing a bruise on her skin. It looked like it had been pinched. I gave you a concerned look. Auntie hit you. It's fine if she hits me. I will hit her, son. This girl is insane. The family hosted a full moon banquet. It was extremely fancy. The banquet included not only relatives and friends, but also the dad's business partners. They were from every walk of life. Ophelia stated that her mother had calculated their current working capital at home to be 8 million yuan. If an education fund were established, my house would be gone. After Dad finished entertaining 2 clients, my stepmother dragged him away. When he saw me, the corners of his eyes slid up smugly. My stepmother intended to imitate others and hold a 1-year-old catch ceremony. There were gold bars, abacuses, and medals. On the table was also a gold-graved certificate with the education fund engraved on it. I am impressed. She's very calculating. I could hear it from my home in Beijing. Honey, take a look at this education fund right now. Several cars had stopped at the hotel's entrance. Someone entered with a microphone, looked around, and asked, "Excuse me. Is this the banquet honoring Scarlett, the top scorer in the college entrance examination for Tsinghua University?" Dad felt embarrassed for a while. He had no plans to host a banquet for me to celebrate my admission to university, so he had to smile and respond to the reporters. Scarlett's banquet to celebrate her university admission will be held 1 week after receiving the admission notice, my stepmother said, looking upset. The reporter inquired again, where does Scarlett intend to fill out her application preferences? I was just about to respond, when a teacher handed me a business card. He said, "Come to Peking University. Tuition is waived and you will receive a 50,000 scholarship. You won every year." Another teacher did not want to fall behind either of the students. Scarlett Tsinghua University welcomes you. If Peking University offers this, Tsinghua University will double it. More people gathered around. President Sebastian has excellent genes. Once I tell others about this, I'll be able to claim to have done business with the top scorer's father. He has hidden a top scorer at home. Sebastian has kept it a closely guarded secret. When my father was praised, his face lit up with pride, and no one cared what the little kid grabbed. Throughout the 1-year-old catch game, the camera was trained on my face. I shrugged my shoulders. Sorry. Teachers from Peking University. I'm going to settle for a 5-bedroom apartment. I terminated the bed agreement with my father. The words were written, if Scarlett is admitted to Tsinghua University, her father, Sebastian, will buy her a 5-bedroom apartment in Beijing as full payment. With so many witnesses, my father was unable to deny it and could only agree. He couldn't wait to sign the purchase contract right away to demonstrate his business integrity. Suddenly, the crowd screamed, Sebastian's wife has fainted. My stepmother became seriously ill during that time. She continued to try to negotiate with my father. Scarlett is still young. It will not be too late to purchase the home when she marries. It can only be used as a wedding room. I shook my head, Auntie. Decorating takes a year, while ventilation takes 3. I'll graduate and get my marriage certificate. Buying it now is ideal. What house requires 3 years of ventilation? Mine. My father became irritated when the topic of the house was brought up. Too often, Vivian, I have already promised a house. If I do not buy it, where will I put my face? It was the first time I witnessed my father being fierce with his first love. How about my son and me? My stepmother started crying. What do you mean by, you and your son? Have I left you homeless, made you suffer from hunger or cold? But the money you're spending is the couple's joint property. My father remained silent for a while before getting up and leaving. But are we a couple? This was a sore spot in my father's heart. He hadn't received the marriage certificate from his first love yet. My stepmother's ex-husband committed a crime and received a 20-year prison sentence. The other party was a jerk who refused to divorce, no matter what. Up until now, they were still nominally married. In a strict sense, my father remained the third party who ruined someone else's marriage. Ophelia tends to abuse others. She would take advantage of people's inattention by tightly gripping her younger brother's neck and watching his face turn from white to red, then purple. She would use her fingernails to pinch words on the tender skin that appeared to be bleeding. She used needles to prick the unused cranial sutures. I'd known about it for a long time because I'd been a victim before. Finally, my stepmother discovered the young child's injuries. These days, she had been secretly inquiring about the second child training camp. I showed her the information in both paper and electronic form. Some parents reported that after sending their children who resisted reform, their homes became much quieter within a few months or years. When the children returned, they behaved as if they were different people. They would take the initiative to wash clothes, prepare meals, and even serve as mounts for their younger siblings. They refused to compete or fight and were willing to set a good example. My stepmother was slowly falling into the trap. I knew she was tempted. She had no idea that these people were exactly like young Yoshin and his ilk, who had escaped legal sanctions at the time. They used electric shocks, corporal punishment, and torture to coerce children into voluntarily submitting to the second child. Ophelia's sentencing was entirely justified. 2 days later my father left for another city on business. There was a heavy rainstorm that night. In my room, I saw Ophelia being dragged into a car by several large men dressed in black. Her screams carried through the window. My methods are disgusting. Are they as awful as yours and Mr. Wang's? Mr. Wang. After the college entrance exam, I wanted to know whose son Leo was. Since my stepmother moved into our home, she has been very virtuous and rarely goes out with other men. Instead, my father frequently sent the driver to pick her up for dates, until one day I went downstairs to get some water and noticed my father looking for hangover medication. Dad, did you go for another candlelight dinner today? What? A candlelight dinner? He swallowed the medication. Since your aunt became pregnant, we haven't gone out alone. In an instant, I remembered that my father's car appeared downstairs at least 5 times per month. Every time he went out, it would last 2 hours. It turned out that my stepmother had an affair with the driver. After sorting through the clues, I couldn't help but sigh at Uncle Wang's bravery in driving my father's car, earning my father's money, sleeping with my father's woman, and having a baby with him. This is what the ancients meant when they said they were unaware of the apparent danger right in front of them. With the target person identified, it was only a matter of time before evidence would be obtained. I easily grabbed Uncle Wang's hair and successfully installed a camera in the vehicle. If I revealed it, my father's mood would undoubtedly be so bad that I should immediately urge him to buy the house in Beijing. At dinner, I took out the admission notice from Tsinghua University. Before I could say anything, my father raised the issue. I have looked at the house you chose. It is not far from Chu University, and it has already been decorated. You can move in with only your luggage. He placed the bank card on the table and pushed it towards me. Please sign the contract as soon as possible. Don't waste what you've purchased. You can also live there frequently while attending college. My stepmother got so angry that she pinched the baby in her arms. Wow, you only know how to cry. You own nothing in this family. My father was also furious and took the child away. Vivian, why are you behaving like a shrew now? Should I pretend your dead wife? Working hard for half her life and receiving nothing. Finally, my stepmother smiled at me. You have no idea how sinisterly scarlet it is. We were still sleeping together the day before your mother's death. I mentioned how much I disliked the 6-mile run. So your father did not even want to see your mother before she died. What a pitiful woman. My mother was anything but miserable. She knew everything. She didn't care. She even looked forward to dying because her first love was waiting for her there, and my father was only a substitute. I was not intimidated at all. I walked up to my stepmother and grabbed her hair, forcing her to look at me. What about you, besides my father? Who else have you slept with? My stepmother was stunned for a while. She pushed me away, cursed like crazy, and turned around to leave, leaving my father alone to drink gloomy wine. When I went downstairs again, he had already begun to talk nonsense. Scarlett, do you think Dad was wrong? Your mother was a lovely person. Why did I not cherish her? Why did I have to search for my first love? So, what if I find her? I have a strong suspicion that Vivian is only with me for money. I shake my head. Know your father and driver Uncle 1. Following that day, my father and his first love began a cold war for greatness. I can have a quiet birthday. I bought some cake for myself. I ate the cake in front of my mother's tombstone and informed her of it. It's hilarious. Dad still doesn't realize he's been cucked. He is overjoyed every day that he has a son in his old age. By the way, Mom, do you know whose son that is? Uncle Wong is Dad's driver. I have the report from court. Mom, when do you think it's best to go public? And grandmother, who used to blame you for not having a grandson, now she's being driven back to her hometown by the woman who gave birth to her grandson. Ophelia, I doubt you've met her. Well, it doesn't matter. Finally, I exhaled. I am an adult now. Mom, after I eat the cake, I'll open your gift, lawyer. He was my mother's college classmate. After talking with him for half an hour, I was still a little confused. Wait, Uncle, are you telling me that my mother left me 80 million yuan? After 3 confirmations, I still couldn't believe it. 80 million yuan, it was much money for me. Yes, during her lifetime, your mother applied to have the couple's assets liquidated. She owned 5 million yuan in liquid funds, 2 houses, and 40% of the company's shares. The houses were immediately transferred to your name, and your father held the shares for you until you reached adulthood. Regarding the liquid funds, your mother made an excellent investment. She asked the fund manager to hold the shares on her behalf. The market value has now increased by more than tenfold, to approximately 80 million yuan, excluding commission. I wiped away the drool of being wealthy. The key point was that the house where my father and his first love lived actually had my name on the property certificate. Amazing. Truly amazing. Mom, I finally understood what you meant all those years ago, when you whispered that you'd hold on until I reached adulthood. Back then, I didn't understand the weight of those words. But now I do. It means I can pack their bags whenever I want, and throw them out of my house. I didn't waste a second. I called the lawyer immediately, told him to start transferring and selling all the company's shares. Even if it meant selling them cheap. I didn't care. Mom once told me the real estate market had been declining for years. But my father, he refused to change. He clung to that crumbling empire like it was his last breath, all for her, his beloved first love. Even the company's code, ZO829, wasn't random. Those numbers hit her birthday, the same woman who ruined my family, engraved into the business like a secret shrine. Her birthday is the day after tomorrow. 2 days left. Just enough time to prepare a birthday present she'll never forget. Meanwhile, my sweet stepmother is probably dreaming of cashing in on her grand birthday wish. Spending my father's money like it was hers. Smiling sweetly while stabbing my mother's memory in the back. Well, let her dream. In 2 days she'll learn exactly what it means to live under someone else's roof, my roof. And when they're standing on the street with their bags at their feet, maybe they'll finally understand what it feels like to lose everything in the blink of an eye. Just like we did. When it was night, she couldn't wait to coax my father into a gentle embrace. She hooked her leg under the dining table and flirted with me by mistake, so I picked up a piece of durian peel, expressionless, and placed it under my foot. She stepped on it. Facts show that I should have no illusions about my father. After just 1 night of whispering in his ear, he handed over half of his fortune. My father promised not only to buy her bags and jewelry, but also to purchase a house in the school district for her son. Following the year-end dividend, he attended his first love's birthday banquet. I bought a small toy the evening before going there. When I arrived at the banquet hall's entrance, my stepmother was greeting the guests and Uncle Wang by holding my father's arm. The driver was assisting behind them. Scarlett is here. My stepmother was in a good mood today and greeted me with enthusiasm. Is the item in your hand a gift for me? Yes. It looked interesting, so I purchased it for Vivian. I opened it in front of her. It was a face recognition clock in a machine. I demonstrated this by placing my face in front of it. The recognition was successful. The machine voice stated, "Beep the card of the most beautiful girl in the universe." How fascinating. My stepmother was always supportive of me. I'll give it a shot too. Beep the card for the person with a longer life than legs. Uncle Wang laughed. His face happened to be in the frame of recognition. Beep Uncle Wang's card. Oh, it's brilliant. It even knows that my surname is Wang. Other passers-by joined in the fun. They toasted my father, President Sebastian. Are you transitioning into the technology business? My father put his arm around his first love to socialize. President, you're joking. It's just a toy for children, just for fun. Then let us take a look too. Okay, My father took it from my stepmother's hands and looked down at it. A sudden mechanical voice rang out from the beep, coupled card. The entire place froze. Uncle Wang arrived to smooth things over. Beep, Uncle Wang's card. My father's expression was one of mixed emotions. Amid the panic, I noticed my stepmother and Uncle Wang exchange glances before quickly looking away. Guiltily. Later, someone came out to settle the matter, and the minor incident was resolved. The master of ceremonies hosted the event on the stage. My stepmother took the stage and delivered a 3,000-word speech. She did not hide her feelings for my father at all. She even made plans for the next life. My father appeared to be a young and inexperienced lad in the audience, his old face flushed red. Finally, my stepmother stated, "I have been in love with Sebastian for 21 years. We wasted 15 years apart, but fate brought us back together. For this reason, I created a video to document everything." The large screen lit up, and the commotion in the venue began. The video image was narrow. It was clear that it had been taken from the passenger seat of an Audi. My stepmother had a flushed face as she faced the camera. The man only showed the back of his head and a bald patch on top. Even before they took their seats, the audience members began to feel sick. My stepmother was in a hurry to turn it off, but she could only turn off the display. The sound was still going on. "When will our son be able to call me daddy? And you daddy? Could you afford to raise him?" The staff stepped out and turned off the video. My father didn't say anything. When he stood up, he staggered like Uncle Wang. The driver kneeled on the spot. "President Sebastian, I apologize. This woman seduced me. I cannot afford to lose my job. Please sponsor my daughter's tuition fees." My stepmother also knelt. "Husband, you mentioned it when you were younger." She grabbed my father's trouser leg and refused to let go. "If I stayed even an inch, you would have moved the wall an inch. If I stray, you'll move a yard. How could you forget that?" My father became increasingly enraged as he listened to those words from his past as a lovesick fool. There was only something to listen to casually. "How dare she act so recklessly? Move out of my way." My father kicked both of them away. Vivian's jade bracelet hit the ground and broke into 3 pieces. When my father looked at it, he began crying. This was an ancestral treasure for the Sebastian family during my mother's 15-year marriage to him. He had been unwilling to take it out. Grandma even claimed that my mother did not deserve it because she was unable to give birth to a son. Now we're in the same situation. There is no grandson, and even the bracelet is gone. I casually snapped a photo and sent it to Grandma. "Grandma, it appears that your Sebastian family can no longer carry on the legacy." What I didn't expect was that just a few days after the birthday celebration, my father reconciled with his first love. It was like a sharp knife cutting through your buttocks and an eye-opener. I silently prayed to God to keep this crazy couple together, and never let them enter the market to harm other middle-aged and older adults. In the afternoon, I immediately called a moving company and a locksmith in front of Vivian. I packed their belongings and threw them out. She shouted behind me, "Your father is not even willing to drive me away. Who do you think you are, throwing my belongings away?" I took out the property ownership certificate bearing my name. "Vivian, not to mention throwing out your belongings, even if it means throwing you out. Scarlett will not even bat an eyelid." She was driven insane by me. She lay flat on the ground, like a significant character. "Anyway, I will not go out until your father arrives." I summoned the moving guy. "You mentioned that it is 80 U for large items and 40 U for small items." I pointed to the ground. "So, is this a large or small item?" I realized I was swearing at her. "Your entire family relies on you." I recorded the sentence and called the police. By the way, with conclusive evidence, the police asked Vivian to apologize to me and pay me 500 yuan in mental damages. So it's best not to scold people with dirty words. After being driven out of the house, my father rented a small apartment close to the company. His forgiving attitude made him a laughingstock in the industry. His business and clients were severely harmed. The quality of life also plummeted dramatically. A few days later, the video of the birthday banquet arrived in our hometown. When my grandmother noticed the 2 lumps of white flesh intertwined, someone took it to show her. She suffered a stroke on the spot and was transported to the hospital. The doctor stated that no amount of aspirin would dissolve her century-old blood clots. My father didn't have time to visit her. There were issues with his company because I sold 40% of its shares to a competitor at a low price. He was so concerned that he worked until midnight every day. It is only a matter of time before the company goes bankrupt, so I would not go to see her either. After all, Qinghai University was about to begin. I needed to find time to tidy up my 5-bedroom apartment. The apartment had a bright, airy living room. The kind that looked like it belonged in a magazine rather than my messy life. Still, I had to get practical. I drafted a notice and posted it on the school forum that night. Exquisitely decorated apartment available for rent. Affordable, cozy, and perfect for good-looking boys and girls from Shanghai University. First come, first served. Don't miss out. I couldn't help but add a sly note at the end. Word was, Vivian couldn't even afford next month's second child training camp fees. Tough break. And with Ophelia stepping out into the light again, things were about to get interesting. I shut my laptop and leaned back, imagining the chaos about to unfold. Sometimes the universe does the dirty work for you. You just have to sit back and watch it all play out. If you're hooked and want to see what happens next, smash that subscribe button. Share this story with someone who loves a good twist, and drop a comment below. Would you rent this apartment or run for the hills? I'm dying to hear your take.